Imagine walking into a hospital. Not to wait for an organ donor, but to order a new body part like a product. A new patch of skin. A new piece of bone. Even a new kidney. It sounds like science fiction. But here's the truth. Scientists are already growing real human tissues. Not in a movie. In real labs, right now. So the question is not, is it possible? The real question is, how far have we actually reached? And what is still impossible? When people hear this topic, they imagine something scary. A full arm growing in a jar. A human head in a tank. That is not what's happening. In real science, growing body parts usually means growing tissues, growing cell layers, growing mini structures, repairing damaged organs, printing biological scaffolds. So the truth is more realistic and more useful. This is not about creating monsters. This is about saving lives. There are three main ways scientists grow human tissues. Method 1, Tissue engineering. This is where scientists take living cells and place them on a scaffold. The scaffold is like a frame. Cells grow and fill it, forming tissue. Method 2, Stem cells. Stem cells are special cells that can turn into many different cell types. Scientists guide them to become skin cells, nerve cells, heart muscle cells, liver cells. Method 3, 3D bioprinting. This is the most famous method. Instead of plastic, the printer uses bioink made of living cells plus gel. Layer by layer, it prints tissue shapes. Now here's the big truth most people don't realize. We can already grow simple tissues. But complex organs are still extremely difficult. Because organs are not just tissue. Organs are systems. They require blood vessels, nerves, multiple cell types, perfect structure, immune compatibility. So yes, body parts can be grown. But not all body parts. So now we know. Lab-grown human tissue is real. But which parts are already being used in hospitals? Which ones are still experimental? And which ones are impossible? In part 2, we'll explore the most successful lab-grown body parts already used in medicine today. If there is one human body part that science can grow successfully today, it is skin. And this is not a theory. Lab-grown skin has been used for years in burn victims, severe wounds, skin grafting. Why is skin easier than other organs? Because skin is mostly a layered structure. It does not need complex 3D shape, heavy internal blood networks, multiple organ systems. Scientists can take skin cells, grow them in layers, and create a living sheet of tissue. This is one of the biggest medical breakthroughs of modern biology. The next major success is cartilage. Cartilage is the flexible tissue found in ears, nose, joints. Cartilage is important because it is strong, flexible, and has low blood supply. That sounds bad. But for bioprinting and tissue engineering, it's actually good. Because the biggest problem in growing organs is blood vessels. Cartilage doesn't require as many blood vessels as organs like the liver or kidney. That's why scientists can grow cartilage structures more easily. This is already being used in reconstruction surgeries, experimental implants, sports injury research. Now let's talk about bone. Can we grow bone? Yes, but with limits. Scientists can grow bone tissue patches, bone-like scaffolds, small grafts. This is used in dental implants, jaw reconstruction, orthopedic research. But a full-arm bone system with nerves, blood supply, and muscle attachment? That is still far beyond current science. So the real story is: small bone repair equals possible. Full body part replacement equals not yet. Now we come to one of the most shocking medical achievements. Scientists have created lab-grown bladder tissue and used it in patients in experimental cases. Here's why this matters. A bladder is not a simple tissue like skin. It is a functional organ. So how did they do it? They took cells from the patient. Bladder muscle cells. Bladder lining cells. Then they grew them on a scaffold shaped like a bladder. The result? A living tissue structure that the body could accept better, because it was made from the patient's own cells. This is not common. But it proves something huge. Growing replacement organs is not impossible. It's just extremely hard. So far, we have real success. White heavy checkmark skin. White heavy checkmark cartilage. White heavy checkmark small bone structures. White heavy checkmark rare organ tissue like bladder. But now we reach the most exciting part. Because scientists can also grow something called mini organs. Tiny versions of human organs. They don't replace organs. But they might be the key to the future. In part 3, we will explore. Now we enter the most mind-blowing part of this topic. Scientists can grow something called organoids. Organoids are tiny, simplified versions of organs grown from human cells. Think of them like a small biological model of a real organ. Not full-sized. Not complete. But still alive. Still functional in small ways. Organoids can be grown for liver, kidney, lung, intestine, retina, and even brain tissue. And they are one of the most important tools in modern medicine. Yes, scientists can grow brain organoids. This sounds terrifying, but let's be very clear. These are not full brains. They do not think like humans. They do not have consciousness. They do not have memories. They are tiny clusters of brain-like tissue that help scientists study brain development, neurological diseases, genetic disorders, drug effects. For example, scientists can study diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, epilepsy, autism-related development, brain infection effects. So when people say mini brains in a lab, it's not science fiction horror. It's a medical research breakthrough. Here's why organoids are revolutionary. Normally, to test a medicine, scientists must use animals or human trials. But animal bodies are not exactly like human bodies. So sometimes a drug looks safe in animals, but fails in humans. Organoids allow scientists to test medicines on real human tissue without harming humans. This can help detect toxicity, predict side effects, understand how diseases work, develop personalized medicine. For example, a cancer patient's cells can be used to grow a tumor organoid. Then doctors can test multiple drugs on it and see which drug works best. This is one of the most promising future uses of organoids. Now let's address the biggest misunderstanding. Organoids are amazing, but they are not full replacement organs. Why? Because they usually lack full blood vessel networks, full size and structure, complete organ architecture, proper connection to nerves, immune system integration. In simple words, organoids are like a prototype, a small biological demo version. They help research, but they don't solve organ shortages yet. So now we've reached a powerful truth. Scientists can grow many organs, and they are already changing medicine. But now we reach the biggest challenge of all. Why can't we grow a full heart, kidney, or liver? What is the one major thing stopping us? In Part 4, we will reveal the biggest obstacle in bioprinting and organ growth. Blood vessels, the missing highway system. At this point, many people ask, if we can grow skin and many organs, why not a full heart? The answer is surprisingly simple. Big organs need blood. Not a little blood. A massive, branching, perfectly organized blood vessel network. Skin can survive as a thin layer. Cartilage survives with very little blood supply. But a thick organ like a kidney? If you grow a kidney-shaped block of tissue, the inner cells will die. Because oxygen cannot reach deep inside. Here's the brutal biological truth. Cells must stay close to oxygen. If a group of cells becomes too thick without blood vessels, the center becomes oxygen-starved. And cells die. This is why the most common organ growth problem is vascularization. That means building blood vessels. In the human body, blood vessels are like highways, pipelines, delivery systems, and waste removal systems. Without them, no organ survives. Now you might think, okay, just print blood vessels. But printing vessels is one of the hardest things in biology. Because blood vessels are not simple tubes. A real vessel system includes large arteries, medium vessels, tiny arterioles, and microscopic capillaries. Capillaries are unbelievably small. And they must connect perfectly. Also, blood vessels must not leak, not clot, not collapse, connect to the patient's circulation, support blood pressure, and avoid immune rejection. That is an engineering and biological nightmare. So yes, scientists can print some vessel-like structures. But printing a full organ-level network is still one of the biggest unsolved problems. Even if we solved blood vessels tomorrow, we still face other major challenges. A. Multiple cell types. A kidney isn't one type of tissue. It contains many specialized cell types arranged perfectly. B. Nerve integration. Organs are connected to nerves. Without nerve signals, some organs can't function properly. C. Immune system rejection. Even lab-grown organs can be rejected unless they are made from the patient's own cells. D. Perfect structure. Organs have microscopic architecture. For example, a kidney contains millions of filtration units called nephrons. If those aren't built correctly, it's not a kidney. It's just tissue shaped like a kidney. So the challenge is not only printing. The challenge is printing life with perfect biological organization. So now we know the real reason full organs are still rare. Blood vessels are the missing key. But science is moving fast. And the future is not a fantasy anymore. In Part 5, we will explore the final truth. What might be possible in the next 10 to 30 years, and what will probably never happen. Including the big question. Could we ever grow a full human body? Let's start with the realistic future, not fantasy. In the next 10 to 30 years, medicine will likely make these things common. White heavy checkmark lab-grown skin, even better than today. Faster healing. Less scarring. Customized for the patient. White heavy checkmark cartilage and joint repair. Sports injuries. Arthritis treatment. Knee cartilage regeneration. White heavy checkmark tissue patches for organs. Instead of replacing a full organ, doctors may repair it using heart patches after heart attacks. Liver tissue patches. Cornea repair. Nerve repair scaffolds. This is more realistic than printing a full heart. Because patches are thinner and easier to supply with blood. Now let's talk about the big dream. Printing full organs for transplant. This would solve one of the world's biggest medical problems. Millions of people wait for kidneys, hearts, livers, lungs, and many die waiting. A printed organ could change everything. But the truth is, full organ printing is still not reliable. However, science is moving in that direction. The most likely path is: print scaffolds. Seed them with the patient's cells. Grow them in bioreactors. Build blood vessels gradually. Then implant them. So the future is not press, print and done. It's more like print plus grow plus mature plus implant. Now we reach the most controversial question. Some people imagine a future where a full body is grown in a lab, organs are harvested, or humans are manufactured. Let's be direct. A complete human body is not realistically possible with current science. And even if it became technically possible, it would face massive barriers: ethical, legal, religious, and humanitarian. Also, the biological complexity is beyond anything we can build today. A human body requires a full nervous system, a developing brain, immune system development, hormonal systems, organ coordination, growth timing, and consciousness issues. This is not like printing a machine. It's like printing an entire living universe. So for the foreseeable future, science will focus on parts, not whole bodies. Now here's the most important message of this entire video. Even without full organs, this technology is already changing the world. Because growing human tissue allows safer drug testing, personalized cancer treatment, studying diseases without harming people, faster wound healing, better reconstruction surgery, and one day, organ repair without donors. So when you ask, is it possible to grow real human body parts? The answer is yes, and it's already happening. Not in the way movies show, but in the way that saves real human lives. So the future is not about creating artificial humans. The future is about something far more powerful: ending organ shortages, repairing the human body, and turning science fiction into medicine. And the most shocking part? We are not waiting for the future. We are already inside it. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more future science explained. And comment below, would you trust a 3D printed organ in your own body?
Subscribe Info Beyond Borders now for more mind-blowing knowledge.